Right, lads. Today I want to talk about something that's been rattling around in my head for on and off for a couple of years now, I suppose. And I was going to say the importance of religion, but I've changed that. When I wrote that down, I was like, the importance of religion. If I start talking about the importance of religion, people who know me a long time are going to rewind it 30 seconds and listen back to it because they're going to be sure I didn't say the words importance of religion. Have I lost my fucking mind, or what the fuck is going on with me? So I'm going to rephrase it ever so slightly, and I'm going to talk about, or at least try and talk about, or try and figure out in my head, the historical importance of religion. Okay? And the reason I say the historical importance of religion is because I think that the internet has changed everything. So you've probably heard in history, or even me recently, I was given out about terms like the Bronze Age and the Neolithic Age, which is the New Stone Age, and the Mesolithic, which is the Middle Stone Age, and the Paleolithic, which is the Old Stone Age. All these Bronze Age, Iron Age, all those terms, they're too wishy-washy as far as I'm concerned. They're not. You'd be far better served by learning how many thousand years ago was this, and make an exception for the internet age, because I think we're living in it. So the internet age isn't thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, or decades. We're in the middle of it, okay? We're living through it. And it's only gotten started. Really, I mean, the internet has only become ubiquitous, and still only ubiquitous in the Western world for the most part. But it's only getting going now. It's only very recently, like in the last couple of years, that you can just Google anything and everything whenever, wherever you want. You don't have to be in coverage. Like, coverage seems to be a thing of the past nearly. Like, coverage these days is, oh shit, I don't have enough coverage. To do what? To watch a fucking 4K 4.5 hour long movie on Netflix. Like, before, it was like, oh, I don't have coverage, which meant you couldn't access the internet full stop. Those days are more or less gone. So we're only living recently in the real age of the internet. What the fuck has the age of the internet got to do with religion? Well, there's another little expression or saying that I'm a fan of, me that loves my little sayings, and it's, in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. Okay, so just to expand on that slightly, this is the first time in human history that you can actually just find out whatever you want about whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want it. There's a million and one different ways to get to the same answer, depending on what way you want to go about getting that answer. Okay, so if you were a Jew or a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist growing up throughout the centuries and millennia, that was fine. You grew up in an area that was Jewish, so you were Jewish. Or you grew up in an area that was Muslim, and you were a Muslim, and that was fine. That was grand. That's what you are. You didn't know, like, Jews from 1,000 years ago presumably didn't know that there was another 100 religions around the world. And if they did, they viewed them as being, beneath theirs. As I'm sure did Christians and Muslims and Hindus and Buddhists and whatever else, okay? There was some vague notion back then that there were other religions, but those other religions weren't as informed as yours was, basically. Everyone thinks that their religion is the one true religion. Everybody thinks their religion is the one true God, blah, 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 blah. Okay? That was kind of fine pre the internet. Okay? But as I said, in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. So I don't have a whole pile of time for anybody who would consider themselves to be either a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or a Hindu or whatever it is that's grown up with the internet. I've said before that when I get into debates with people about religion, for the most part, I give people older than me a free pass. Okay? If somebody in their 50s wants to join the Catholic priesthood, whatever, I'm not going to really care. I'm not going to argue the point too hard. I'm of the opinion that people older than me grew up in a different era, and as I said, they just get a free pass. They'll die soon enough. If you're my age and younger, however, fucking forget about it. You're not getting away with shit. You've had the same access to fucking information that I have, and it's not good enough. Okay? And just to clarify, I think that anybody, let's say younger than me or my age, 36 and younger, who considers joining the Catholic Church to be morally reprehensible. I think that anybody who's in the Catholic Church has some fucking serious questions to ask themselves. One of them being, how much of a hypocrite can I be? Look. Old habits die hard in that. I'm not going down the whole religious bashing route. That's not my intention, so I'm just going to carry on. Okay? The historical importance of religion. So, like usual, I'm going to try and explain this as best I can to myself and whoever's listening via analogy. Shocker. So, a friend of mine is brown, as it happens. Now, the only reason I mention that is because it's kind of fundamentally important. Okay? Her dad is from the Caribbean, and he married an Irish woman, and she is their kid, so she's brown living in Ireland. Okay? Now, we've been together before when we've met new people, and we've been asked where he is from. I say Navan, and people go, okay. She says Navan, but the answer isn't, or the reply or the response isn't okay the same as it is for me. There's usually a follow-up. There's usually some form of where you're really from, or where you're originally from, or how long are you in Navan. So if somebody asks me where I'm from and I say Navan, they never ask me how long I'm there. Ever. Not once. They've never asked me, where am I really from? Ever. Not once. Okay? Now, her nose is a bit out of joint over this, because as she saw it as being insulting. She translated where are you really from, or how long have you been living in Navan. She translated that to why are you brown, and didn't take it as an outright racist thing, but kinda. She's been treated differently because of the colour of her skin. So you can understand how, you can see how you get annoyed. All your friends, all your white friends can answer, oh, I'm from Kells, I'm from Navan, I'm from Dublin, and nobody passes fucking any remarks. But she says she's from Navan, and all of a sudden it's like, oh God, right, and how long are you living in Navan? So, I get where she comes from, but I managed to change her mind, or at least I must actually double check this with her, because I think I managed to change her mind in relation to this. Because what I said to her was, the people who are asking you, where are you from? And I know this from personal experience, because I'm sure I've asked a taxi man before, where are you from, man? And he'd say, Fitzherbert Court in a state in Navan. And I go, no, I mean originally, man, where are you from originally, like? Because, he'd be a really dark dude or whatever. But I'm not doing it out of racism. I'm doing it out of interest. And what I tried to explain to my friend is, somebody who asks where you're really from, they're interested. And they're not racist per se, even though it might be a somewhat racist thing to ask somebody. Somewhat racist. Unintentionally racist. But certainly not intentionally racist. Because what I tried to explain to her was, an actual racist won't care. An actual racist doesn't care and won't care where you're originally from or how long you're here. They don't give a shit. As far as an actual racist is concerned, you're from brown land or black land or foreign land. You're from somewhere that's not here. And that's it. It doesn't matter where. The specifics of it don't matter. Racists don't like brown people or black people or Asian people or Chinese people or whoever it is that they don't like. Or white people. If you're a black person and you hate white people, you're just as racist as a white person who doesn't like black people. But anyway, I maintain at least that an actual racist won't care where you're from. You're from foreign land as far as they're concerned. And they just want to send you back there. The specifics of there doesn't matter. There is, to them, is not here. Where you go, they don't give a shit. You could go to somewhere that's way better than here. They don't care. They just don't want you here. Okay? That's an actual racist. Somebody who asks where you're really from, they're only really trying to get to know you. They're only trying to get a handle on you. And here's another one. One thing that I do get, like I don't get where you're really from, but what I will get, and it's more relevant closer to home than I am. So within my county, or within, let's say, a 10-mile radius of my house, when people ask me where I'm from, I won't say Navan, because I don't live in Navan. I live in Kilberry. But Kilberry's only a little small townland area. It's not even a village. Like there's a pub and a shop and a church, and a couple of farm sheds, and that's literally it. But what I'll get is, and where are you from now? Like, oh, I'm from Kilberry. Oh, right. And what did you say your surname was? And I'd say McKeown. And they go, McKeown. Would you be anything to Tom McKeown? And I go, the farmer. And they go, yeah. I go, yeah. Tom would be an uncle of mine. He's my dad's brother. Right. So you'd be cousins then with Thomas Jr. and Bernard. I would indeed, yeah. And who's your mam now? Well, my mam would be a flood. A flood, right? Would she be a flood from Rakenny? She would indeed, yeah, no way. Just the whole family line. Oh God, I do, yeah. We're McKeevers, and the McKeevers and the McKeowns and the flood go back years and years and years, and blah 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 blah. But basically, what they're trying to achieve is to get a handle on who you are. So for me, in my own personal circumstances, being a McKeown from Kilberry holds a certain weight because the McKeowns from Kilberry have been here for decades. Like my two kids actually, I think I have to double check this in my head, but I think they're at least third generation, if not fourth generation McKeowns from Kilberry. Okay? We're not blow-ins by any stretch of the imagination. And that means something to people because it means that they have an immediate safety around you. There's a level of decency that's expected of you. Okay? If I said I'm Dave O'Leary from Dublin, they'll probably ask whereabouts in Dublin are you from. Now, they mightn't necessarily know Dublin, but what they're looking for is, does where you say you're from jump out as a place that's typically on fire? Because if it is, the odds of you being a bad person are higher. They're not guaranteed, obviously. There's no guarantees in any of this. It's all very vague and all very wishy-washy. But it's how we try and get a handle on people. People are keen to know who it is that they're talking to. And they want to, before they give you any more information, or before they welcome you into their home, or before they're happy with you going out with their daughter or whatever it is, they want some form of reassurance that you're not a bad person and you don't have a nefarious motive, or you don't have a nefarious motive. And I think historically, that's where the historical importance of religion comes from. So if you grow up in an area, you're going to know everybody in the area. But if somebody comes from the outside in, finding out what religion that person is going to be crucially important. Because if you're a Christian and they're a Christian, you can kind of sigh a bit of a sigh of relief. You're like, okay, right, already I've got some form of handle on you. Okay? But if you tell me you're a religion that you've never heard of, all of a sudden I've got loads of questions. What do you believe in? Why do you believe in it? I mean, what's running through the back of your mind is, are these people cannibals? Are these people the type of people who just rape and pillage? Are these people up to no good? Are these people worshipping the wrong God? And are they going to sacrifice me and my kids to this God? Now I'm talking, way back when. I don't think people these days are going to have those kind of thoughts. And I know I'm stumbling around here, but that's the whole point. I'm trying to get a handle on what it is that I'm trying to think here. Was the historical importance of religion, if nothing else, just a way of knowing who you were standing in front of, or getting some sort of a handle on somebody quickly? Just like these days, like maybe when people ask, where are you really from? Maybe that's a throwback to centuries or millennium ago, whereby when you met somebody new, you had to find out fast as fuck what this type of person was all about. Who were they? Could they be trusted? And a quick way of getting to that would be to determine that they were like you in some way. We've replaced this to a certain degree with football teams. So if I get chatting to somebody, if I find out that they're a Liverpool fan, I can kind of sigh a sigh of relief because Liverpool fans are generally pretty sound. But if you say you're a United supporter and that you love Manchester United and you think Alex Ferguson's a great fella, well then fuck you. Because, all likelihood is that you're a complete prick. Broad sweeping generalisation alert, lads. But hopefully you get where I'm coming from. That's what these things have. They have some sort of a utility. Oh, you like, Oasis and Guns N' Roses and all the different bands that I like. There's odds are that you're a decent human being. Oh, you're a Britney Spears fan, or you're a big Take That fan. Oh God, really? How much more time do I have to endure in your company? But yeah, I just tried to get that out of my head, and hopefully it made sense. It seems to have made a little bit more sense, for me at least, to get it out. Because again, these thoughts have been rattling around in my head forever, and it's great to just fucking get them out, because now I can listen back to it and maybe take a few notes, and maybe this episode will be in another series, but put a little bit more succinctly, a little bit more congruently. And on that note, I'll chat to you tomorrow. But before I let you go, I'd just like to remind everybody that this episode and all the episodes on YouTube have been brought to you by past guest and friend of the show, Pat McKeown. Pat is very similar to myself insofar as that he's long had an interest in the mind and more specifically the brain and how they both interact, to such an extent that he went and spent 4 years getting a degree in neuroscience and then spent a further year in getting a master's in psychology. Now what he's done is pretty fucking cool. He's after setting up his own YouTube channel. It's called Pat Psychology Masters and there's a link in the description. Now what he's done here is he's uploaded all the best bits that he's learned over the last 5 years and put them into short, plain English, easy to understand YouTube videos for the likes of myself. His YouTube channel has been a massive resource for me in understanding both my mind and the mind of others. So hit up Pat Psychology Masters YouTube channel, subscribe, give it a like and a comment and a share, all that kind of stuff helps, and I'll chat to you soon.